Welcome back to the book club part 3, and today we're just discussing Bad Girls Finish First, and of course this is by Shelia Dansby Harvey. It's a sequel to Illegal Affairs and by Shelia Dansby Harvey, and of course she's with us again. We're picking up again with Raven.
Yeah. People wanted me to bring her back. I didn't really know if she deserved to come back, but you know, the sentiment was that she was not done. So she's back. And as you know, she's in a different environment now. She is married to, Michael Joseph. You think that's her true love, maybe? Maybe her true love. A lot has changed in her life, right? I mean, a lot has changed. So she's now married to this guy who is Senator Michael Joseph. Yeah, he's not just a nobody. He's a senator. And lo and behold, he wants to become the first black governor of Texas, which would make Raven the first lady. And of course, she's all with being the first lady of something, right? So,
because Raven is never satisfied with anything. Nothing is never enough for her.
You said that before.
Yes.
Well, so now she's just an ambitious woman, and what's wrong with that?
She wanted to be married to the senator, so she intimidated his wife. She got him. So being a senator's wife is not good enough. She wants to be now first lady of Texas.
Well, I mean, whose fault is it that she got to be his wife? I mean, you say that as though it's her fault that his wife couldn't hang on in there.
Raven is clinically speaking a classic narcissist. She is all about Raven. The only reason she wants him, he is not her true love. It's to glorify her. And she's not capable of true love.
Oh, that is such a harsh thing to say. Y'all hurt my feelings. I don't know, is there anybody here who thinks Raven is capable of true love? Not a one? Well, what about David? What about David Capps? What about Reverend David Capps? How does he fit? Okay, she says, what did you say?
Oh, God, I said typical preacher. Brothers, please don't kill me. I think that there are men in the pulpit who struggle with their spirituality, but also struggle with their manhood. And I don't mean their sexuality, because that's not what I'm talking about. That inner struggle or that war to be celibate or not be celibate.
Well, okay, like, so Reverend David Capps, he's like a prototype minister of a mega church, right? He's got this great following. I think he's kind of sexy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I think he's kind of got it going on in that arena, and he knows it, and he's single. I mean, you know, I think he's a Baptist minister. Does he have to be celibate?
No. Okay.
Well, don't you have to? Isn't that?
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Isn't that what that's? He's not married. You are supposed to be celibate.
Okay, wait. Come out. Okay.
What y'all talking about? No.
I'm speaking from what maybe.
He's not a priest. He doesn't have to be celibate. He could have a relationship.
These can't have sex.
I'm sorry.
What is it? Y'all are making me not be able to remember the word that I want to say.
Abstinence?
Abstinence.
Abstinence.
Yeah. What are y'all talking about?
Okay.
It's supposed to be abstinence.
If we are following the letter of the law, the scripture, and I'm not being facetious, he should be practicing celibacy or abstinence.
Yeah, right. I agree.
Instead, he is running around using the church as his own personal buffet, committing fornication at will.
Well, but I'm not sure that the women he likes are members of his congregation. Are they? Is he using the church as a buffet?
How does that matter?
I'm just saying.
He's using his position to partake of just the buffet.
Well, you know what? In his defense, I'm sorry. In his defense, I will say what I do think is that is a realistic struggle between believers. People that are strong in their faith, male or female, and they're trying to find balance. You're not married, so you shouldn't be fornicating, but the reality is it happens. I'm sorry, I didn't make it up.
Well, we have a comment over there, over that way. But you know what? When you listen to it, fornicating, doesn't it sound about right?
No.
To describe what it describes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a sin.
going to say, I mean, a lot of, and there's mixed views both within, I think, and outside of the church, but in terms of Reverend David Cap, I mean, there are a number of people who do believe, as a minister, if you are single, and really, period, we're throwing in the minister aspect because he's a pastor, but just that, period, if you're not married, you should not be having sex outside of marriage. And again, we have different views about that even within the church, but I do think we have to acknowledge that. But also, Reverend David Capps has some issues to me. This whole thing he had with the white women,
What thing was that?
well, he seemed to be obsessed with white women. And then he was I think he was a little too concerned, though. I mean, I know he had this position and he's this big time pastor, but the lengths he went to hide his.
Let me ask you this, okay? A black pastor of a mega church who's attracted to white women. That's his he prefers white women. Can he hold on to his mega church and actually bring a white woman?
I think
into
he
the
could
church?
actually, because so many brothers do.
I
didn't
mean,
think.
No, what I'm saying is, he could say,
No,
this is
no,
your first lady.
I don't agree.
Can he do this?
Not as far as losing his congregation. Now, would he have had some sisters upset? Of course. But we're talking about he was concerned about his career, losing his church. No, I don't think that. I don't buy that. Because we let pastors get away with so much. We would forgive him dating a white woman. Come on. If you forgive a pastor molesting little boys, why are you gonna leave the church because he dating a white woman?
You know what? Is that a generational thing? Maybe, do you think, or I don't know.
Women would be less forgiving of that than like some pastors we know that were homosexual or whatever. I think they would be very less forgiving of that. I don't think it would fly.
He may not lose his church, but he would be.
I think it may or may not also depend on the makeup of the relationships in the church, in the church body in and of itself. So if a lot of if it's the end thing, if more than just the pastor did it,
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
The churches that we know. Let's talk about what we know. Let's talk about what we know in our own experiences. And where we are. We're in Texas. Maybe some other part. Yeah.
Well, the problem I had with him was that he's just a hypocrite. I mean, I could care less whether he dated white women or black women. Or for that matter, if he were a homosexual, that's what he was, that's fine. But he was a hypocrite. He lived one life, and he spoke another one. And that is what gives me a problem with him, because here he is a minister, trying to model how people are supposed to live. And he just lacks integrity.
Before you view part 2 of this segment, be sure to pick up your copy of Bad Girls Finish First, available wherever books are sold. Also check out the book club meetings for Illegal Affairs and the All Sookie Sookie, Omar's Revenge.